So this is our secondary character, Dom. He's Marcus's best friend in the whole world. And what we wanted for Dom was we didn't want his character to overpower the look of Marcus or be cooler than Marcus, yet we couldn't make him so that he wasn't cool. So we had to make him, the coolness factor of Dom had to be at a certain level, right? So you wanted to play Dom, and you know, while you weren't playing Marcus, and et cetera, et cetera. So what we did with Dom was we tried to get a unique profile for Dom. So Dom's got a knife, he's got heavier armor, he's got a different stance, he's shorter than Marcus, he's a lot stockier, a lot heavier looking, yet we didn't want that to overpower the Marcus character, and I don't think he does. I think we did a pretty good job.
With Dominic, Cliff had designed him, he was based loosely, I thought, after a guy I worked with, so it wasn't that much of a stretch to come up with his face and whatnot, because he really was he really reminded me of this guy I worked with. So as far as his character goes, it was fairly easy. The armor itself was a little more difficult because what we wanted to do is we wanted him to be reminiscent of the COG armor, of course, with the chest plate and all that stuff. But we had to pare him down a little bit to keep him from being as bulky as Marcus, because we didn't want him, we wanted Marcus to be the absolute badass in the game and no one else to compare to him. And Dom being his sidekick, I hate to say sidekick, but we didn't want him to be as bulky. So we kept his shoulders kind of down. We gave him a couple little extra added things to, the light and the knife to kind of break up his silhouette. But we wanted him to feel a little less armored out than Marcus was. For this concept, it didn't take nearly as long as Marcus did because the style was already set, the armor pieces were already set. So this one took probably maybe a week to crank out because we were so, everything was already set with the design.
All right. Well, so with Dom's head, we kind of wanted to portray the the Latino look on him, as well as try to make him badass, but not without overpowering the hero Marcus Phoenix. So he's like a cool sidekick you'd want to play. He still has a broad, thick, kind of square jaw look, meaty, rough looking. He's got the earrings, double-sided earrings. Just overall in general a cool character. This is the low poly built off the high, around 5,000 faces with hair. So the sheets you're seeing on top of the head, on the goatee, on the chin, that's the sheets for the hair. Basically, we apply polygons to display the office of the hair. So this right here is, as you can see on the very left side of it, is the sheets in world space. And what we're doing is we're taking those sheets and we're applying it to the cheek and the jaw and kind of sculpting the hair to conform around the skin.
This is an image of Dom from Gears 1, and what we did with Gears 1 is model their expressions into their face, because that's how we pretty much wanted them to be constantly in the game. These guys were tough, pissed off, and what we found is when we finally got to the point of animating them for cinematics, we really couldn't animate past that expression. It was really hard to fight against that. Dom was just always had a lowered brow. He always had a frown on. You could not get these guys to smile. So pretty much their emotional range was pissed off, but we couldn't go beyond that. For Gears 2, we knew about that problem beforehand, so we re-sculpted Dom's face to accommodate a wider range of emotion. We gave him a pretty neutral starting pose, and we added probably about 10 more joints in his face, and we added morph targets on top of that, so we can achieve any facial pose we wanted to, and this just allows us pure freedom with the emotions we want to animate onto Dom. This image kind of shows the range of expressions we set up on Dom. So basically we go in and pose the extreme poses we're going to hit to make sure we can achieve those. And it just gives you an idea of what Dom is going to look like if he happens to be happy, or if he's sad, or very, very angry.
This is Dom's high poly finalized. All the aspects of him were pretty much ZBrushed. We wanted to create quite a bit of difference between him and Marcus, proportion-wise, as well as overall characteristics. He still has to maintain overall proportions to match Marcus's skeleton for animation, but we did, by making him a little stumpier and widening him quite a bit, we gave off a different look, as well as the knife and the gun adding on. as well as the pouches, creates a different silhouette than Marcus. This is the final low poly for Dom. He came out around 15,000 polys or faces. Basically, for him, we wanted to try to model as many separate pieces as possible for secondary animation, as well as, if he wanted to pull the gun out of his holster, he could, or pull the knife out, he can.
Okay, so here we have Dom. Again, we wanted his silhouette to be different from the main character, Marcus. You can see on his uniform, we removed the little shoulder lights, and he's just kind of got one flashlight, spotlight type of thing on his shoulder, and he's got a knife that kind of protrudes out, just again to kind of change up his silhouette and make him different from the main character. Here we can see some close-ups. We really tried to put a lot of details in his armor. The original Marcus was just modeled strictly in Max, and Dom was actually brought into ZBrush, and we kind of banged up his armor a little bit, and it gave it a more organic feel. And he's chunkier, he's kind of heavier, and we actually went back and did the same thing on Marcus. But what you can see here is kind of the texture details on his fabrics, and we really put a lot of detail into the leather packs that they have. He's got veins on his muscles and moles on his skin, and cool fabric that he's got there, as well as the metal and the dings and kinks and dirt in the cracks and stuff like that.
This is a shot of Dom from our real-time viewer in our editor, and as you can see here, the texture map's really detailed. The lighting is there for us, and this is him in a basic neutral pose holding his gun. This is the same image, just showing off the joints that control Dom. This is what we animate in a package like 3D Max or Maya and export out to our editor. And right here, he has about 75 bones controlling his body, and then about another 30 controlling his face. This is another frame grab from our real-time editor, and this is Dom with an animation pose on him. And as you can see, his body is posed, he's taking cover, holding his gun, he's pissed off, he's angry.
Okay, so this is kind of the final iteration of Dom. This is how he turned out in the Gears universe. And he gets the job done. He's a stocky, heavy-looking guy. He doesn't overpower the Marcus character. He's got a different silhouette, so you can tell that it's Dom from a distance. He's got the knife. He's got the cool hair. He's got the cool beard. He's all set. So there he is.